Hello everyone! Today is a lovely book review, and I just finished The Demon Lover by Juliet Dark. Okay, I started out with not knowing what the hell anything about this book, and the first 10 chapters at least.
Where's that one going? It's chapter 8.
I feel like the first 10 chapters should have been like part 1, because that's the way I felt about it. Anyway, like the beginning, it wasn't like a real pull me in. Well, it was at first, but then it just got weird. The next 30 chapters, it is a 40 chapter book. Is there a prologue? I don't think there's a prologue. No, wait. Yes, there is a prologue. It's not really a prologue, but it's a I don't know what to call it, but it's something from within the book that you get to read at the beginning of the book, sort of like it's a teaser. But it's not from anywhere in the book, but it does, you do get to find out about it within the book. And it's an insert, or it's a section of writing from something within the book. Yeah, something like that. And then, like, by the end of the book, the next 30 chapters feels like it should have been an actual book. The first 10 chapters feels like it's basically this book felt like it should have been in 2 parts. The first 10 chapters are part 1, and then the next 30 are part 2. That's just the way it felt like it. But overall, it was a very good book. There's only really 2 things I didn't like about it. One, there's some Juliet Dark has like it feels a little weird in certain places. A lot of her writing style, like the way she phrases like certain sentences or a paragraph, or the way spoken words are said, it feels weird. It doesn't feel like it should be written like that. And yes, that's the writer in me. Like, yes, I'm a writer. I haven't been writing anything in a good while, but the writer in me, it just feels like it's not like it shouldn't be written that way. It's sort of like bad writing. It's just weird phrasing, and I didn't like it. And like the tempo of like reading sentence, and then like just how I read it, most of it didn't feel like it didn't, whatever. Anyway, and then the other part is the sex parts, because this is an adult novel. The woman in here is 26. It's like in her middle to late 20s. So there's going to be sex in here. The sex was written so weird. I did not like the way it was written. Because it was written like basically describing like the way of how like the sea comes in and out from the beach. It was written like he shoved into me like a wave or something. Can I read it? It's just, I didn't like the sex parts, like leading up, like, oh, no. The sex parts, most of it were just, I didn't like the way she phrased a lot of the sex parts. That's not how you write, like, an actual sex scene. Like, a scene is, like, you know, like, how I actually should say, like, the dick, or the penis, or, like, his manhood felt so freaking good inside me that it was sort of like the way, it was like the way a wave come back and forth, is just, it just, like, because I read a lot of adult romance novels with a lot of the sex scenes in it, and this, all of the stuff that I have read, even the V.C. Andrews over here, they were written like the way like a normal sex scene is supposed to be written. Here, not so much. It just, oh my god, really annoyed me. But like it really was a good book. Besides, like, the basic whole written of how the phrasing of all, like, the entirety of the book, how it was written, the phrasing of the sentences and words and such, I can get over that. Because, like, over this entirety of book was very good. I did very much like it. But the sex scenes, it irked me. It very much irked me, and it's like, okay, you need to rewrite these sex scenes. Because they need to sound better, they need to sound correct, they need to sound like actual sex scenes. And then, like, in this one part, like, about maybe in, like, the last 10 chapters, roughly, like, yeah, roughly 10 chapters, there was a scene where basically, like, the couple, a little spoiler alert, the couple separates, but then, like, they come back. And this is literally a sex scene. It's not a big spoiler. And I'm not saying who the couple is, but couple separates and then comes back. And this, basically, they, like, you know, they had a fight, which is why they separated and then come back. Basically, like, she's crying, and it's like, they had a fight about, like, how love works, and how, like, people fall in love, and how people are in, like, love in a relationship, and stuff like that. And, the guy was a bit jealous, and, like, things leading up to, like, this separate and come back, just, there was, like, oh my god, did you just cheat on me sort of situation going on. Anyway, to the point where, like, they come back, and he's like, I want you, she's basically saying, like, so they come together, they start making out, basically, and, like, one of her legs comes up and wraps around the hip, and, like, he lifts her up by a bum, so, like, both legs are wrapped around him, basically slams her back against a tree trunk, and then basically he's inside her all of a sudden, like literally, it's basically, this is what happened, like, he put her up against a tree, and then all of a sudden his penis is up into her vagina. It's like, how does that work? You didn't even say, like, all about the stuff, like, he nearly ripped my pants off, or raked up my skirt, because I can't remember exactly if she was wearing a skirt or pants, or anything along the lines of how his pants came undone. Like, none of that happened in normal romances, in normal adult romances. I can't say about teen romances, because some of the teen romance books that I've read, I don't think I've read sex scenes in them. But anyway, in this one, like, okay, in normal ones, you actually read about, you know, like, the clothes start coming off, or, like, basically ripping off the pants, or ripping open jeans, and hiking up skirts, and moving over panties, and such. Like, that's part of the description of the sex scene. This little scene here, basically, he puts her back up against the tree trunk, and he basically shoves his penis up inside her. It's like, what the fuck? That's not how you write a fucking sexual scene. Like, seriously. That just recently happened in, like, the last week. It's taken me a little while to finish reading this. It was good. It was so good. I love, and there's book 2, and it's called, The Water Witch. There is a prologue and a chapter 1 preview in this book back here, but I'm not reading it because I would rather read the actual book and have it all. I don't want to be teased. I didn't think it would, like, the way this happened, like, the beginning part, like, literally, the first 10 chapters, it feels like it should have been, like, its own, either, like, its own, like, novella, like, you know, really short book, or if it should have been, like, you know, break this into 2 parts. The first 10 chapters, it's like, it should have, you know, it's like, it went up and then down, or, like, you know, how some, like, a normal book happens, like, you know, you get the beginning of the book, it's lighthearted, and then, like, a little spark happens, like, that's how the middle part happens, and then you have, like, this,
investigation sort of thing go on, and then it builds up to, like, the big climax of, like, the big action-packed stuff, and then, you know, either it goes bad, or it, you know, it is a success, and then you have, like, the aftermath of it, like, you're trying to pick up after the pieces, like, something, say, a bunch of houses and trees were blown down, like, you gotta clean up that stuff, like, that sort of thing, and then, like, you know, I think I'm gonna like it here, like, basically the heroine of the story is like, you know, I think I'm gonna like it here, I'm going to stay, because,
yeah, and then, done. And then part 2 is this other thing, is, like, sort of like, you know, the next story, big story in the heroine's life, sort of thing that should have happened. And it literally could have been done in like, this could have been broken up into 2 books. The first 10 chapters could have been made longer because literally she would do like big jump gaps. Like we start in September and then basically wrap up just around Thanksgiving, which, so you've got like there's you've got 2 months, at least 2 months, or almost like roughly 3 months, like the first part, and it's like, it says like 3 weeks went by and just been doing like this. It just felt like it could have been like 2 books. It literally could, but it's just kind of annoying. I do definitely recommend reading this book, and this is a trilogy book. I wish it wasn't a trilogy book, but it's a trilogy book. I could definitely see this as like a big series. I don't know what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna put The Water Witch on hold, or I think I might just I don't think I'm gonna do that because I do want to actually own the next 2 books. I can't wait to read that because like the end of this book, oh my god, it's just, oh, it's got the feels. Like, I've told you about the feels. This has got the feels. Oh, the feels. Oh, the feels. Ugh. I want, like, it was this had a happy ending and not at the same time. And it just, like, I was so happy and yet disappointed, sad at the same time when I finished this just, you know, a few minutes ago. Ugh. Why do you have to torture me? I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but the thing that happened here, I want back. I want back in this book. I want back in the main storyline. I want back so fucking bad. Like, you have no idea. If you have read this, I hope you know what I'm talking about, because, you know, I'm saying it's at the end of the book, in the last 10 chapters. Like, not the bad thing, because nobody wants the bad thing back. But I want the good thing back. I want that fucking good thing back. And if you have not read this book, please read it. Because it is very good. Besides, like, the 2.5 things that I didn't like in this book, as I said, the majority of this book I loved. I just loved it. I definitely recommend you read this book. This is seriously good. And it's just good. It's so freaking good. Well, not so freaking good, but it is very good. Like, after the first 10 chapters, I was like, I loved it. I really was hooked. But then the next, roughly, let's say 15 chapters, because then, like, after the 10 chapters, you got 30 chapters left. So, like, roughly the next 15 chapters after chapter 10, it was a bit slow, which is why it took me so long to read this book. And then, like, the next 15, it just kept getting more and more better. Especially when her lover, like, her main romantic person comes in. Like, the guy who,
You know, it's basically the type of story of, like, she's with someone already, but it's not the greatest of relationships. And then you meet this guy who's like, wow, I'm kind of, like, very much attracted to you, and, like, I feel something. Like, I feel something I don't feel with my other relationship. It's kind of like she's gonna break up with her boyfriend, or he's gonna break up with her, or something's gonna happen that's gonna allow her to be with that other guy.
I had a hard time. I went back and forth between liking her and not liking her, but I really liked the guy that she actually was, you know, in love with. She doesn't say it to him, but you know she does. You know she does, and I kind of loved him. He was great. And, like, at the end of the book, I had the feels, like, no, like, oh, the feels. Alright, the next book I am reading, because the next 2 books after this one in my alphabetical author order, they both have books that I need to read previous to them, because they are both book 2 in a series. So, the next book I'm going to read is Days of Desire and Private Intentions by Sarah Ann Dawson. It's Sarane. And I kind of love this cover because the other two covers that like for the because these are two individual books, but they are combined because they are both, I believe, it would be like a roughly like 15 to 18 chapter book. So these were both combined into one, and that's how you spell her first name. I'm gonna read this because like I love romance novels, and I have never read this or her. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Well, if I like one but don't like the other, I have to keep it anyway. So we'll just find out if I do like it. As I've probably said before, I'm not always huge on. I don't always keep a lot of the like the Harlequin romance ones that are like basic, roughly like 15 to 18 chapters. I think at most they would have like maybe like roughly 20 chapters each, like little book. So I'm going to read you the back. Days of Desire. From the moment Abby Winthrop met Lou Casey? Well, Lou is just throwing me off. L-E-W. And then it's C-A-S-E-Y. I don't know if it's Cassie or Casey. Whatever. On a cruise to nowhere, he made his intentions perfectly clear. Seduction. No holds barred. Like, literally, that's what it says here. Abby was shaken to her Yankee core. Despite her best efforts to despise the brash celebrity, she could do nothing to blunt his devastating sexual assault. Soon, Lou was tempting Abby to extremes she'd never imagined, and she could only wonder where their reckless passion would lead. Now, Book 2, Private Intentions. He was a stranger protecting her family's estate, and Annalise suspected Max Armstrong was little more than a fortune hunter. Determined to keep him at arm's length, she played him for a fool as long as she could. But before long, Annalise was a victim of her own game. Lost in the embrace of the rugged guard, she could only hope that he wasn't out to break her heart and destroy her family name. Oh no! Ooh, I have little snippets from each book. Alright, Days of Desire. I think I'm falling in love with you, Lou said. I can't believe she named the guy Lou. I hope that's just basically a nickname, because that is just... It's like saying in lieu of. Please let that be a nickname or a shortened abbreviation of his full name. Abby stared at Lou. Either this man wasn't Academy Award caliber actor, or he actually believed what he was saying. That's ridiculous, Lou. We have no common ground at all. And you're working very hard to keep it that way, he finished for her. Well, don't worry about that, because, common ground or not, I want you. And I usually get what I want. Private Intention. You deceived me, Annalise. You've been lying to me for days now. That's not true. At least I didn't do it intentionally. I would have told you everything eventually. Trust doesn't come easily to me, Max. You've got to understand that. Oh, I do, he said, taking a threatening step towards her. I understand that you don't mind making love with a man you don't even trust. And I understand that you don't mind telling a man that you love him, just so he'll never suspect you're working against him all the time.
Yeah. Okay, even back here. More synopsis of stuff.
There's so many advertisements in the back of these like Harlequin romance books for like more. Like there are like at least over 10 books that I have seen just looking back here. It's like 5 pages already of advertisements of like, you know, you should read this book and this book and this and this and this. Alright, so that's this book, and it should be interesting because I love reading adult romances. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say adult romance. This is called a paranormal romance, or categorized as. This definitely is just strictly a romance or adult romance, because this is like, it says 2 unforgettable contemporary romances. So like this is strictly romance, and like sometimes there are even like historical romances, but like this, like regardless of it being like a historical or medieval or like a paranormal romance, if it looks like this in like this small type type of book, Noel Roberts is like the exception. But if this type of book, this is definitely an adult romance, and a very good adult romance. Like, the sex scenes will be like on par. They will be like written how they should be written. But yeah, this is my next book. And these are the 2 books in between them. So like this would have been my next book, but since it's book 2, but I have listened to this on tape and I really liked it. So that's why I got it in, physical copy. With series, I have to read like all of it. So I need to ask the library of other libraries, like not my library. It has to be like, a different city or like different area library to get book 1, because this is book 2, and we don't have book 1 at my library, not even in like audiobook, e-reader, large print, like none of them. And then this was the one after it, and this is Her Scoundrel by Geraldine Dawson. This is book 7. It's either book 7 or 6 in that's my dad singing, the Bad Luck Wedding series, but it is it's book 3 in a trilogy, but it's part of a Bad Luck Bride series trilogy, but it is book 6 or 7 in the Bad Luck Wedding series. Like, so I have a bunch of other books to read before this one. That's why these are both on the back burner. These both have to go be put away because I need like the previous books of these, like I do with so many. Oh my gosh, these are probably going to take a little while. And this is the end of my book review. So if you liked it, leave a like, click on that like button down there, and share. If you have read this, share your comments. Try not to leave spoilers, but if you want to talk more in depth, I think you can send me a private message. You should be able to still send me a private message here on YouTube. I don't know where. Probably on my main page. There's probably a message button, or I don't know, but there should still be like a way to privately send a message about if you want to talk about this book. But no mean comments. We don't need negativity here, as I've said. And if you want to see more of these, hit the subscribe button down there down beside my picture there. You can get more book reviews, hauls, unboxing, unbagging, vlogmas, and hopefully normal daily vlogs. I don't know about daily, but there will be I hope to do normal vlogs. And that's it. I hope you had a wonderful time watching this video and have a wonderful time watching more YouTube, or to do something else, like maybe purchasing this book or borrowing this book at your library. Alright, I will see everyone in my next video. Bye-bye!
I burped as I was saying goodbye. That's just great.